contemplating.
Forgetting Tails' name is Miles. That's crazy.
What? Oh yeah, that's right.
First name is Miles.
Nigga, what?
And he got a last name.
Why
Miles
would you ever have a first name? You a fox. Tails is good enough.
Got a last name too.
And it's like it's a man's name. It ain't nothing cute like Fluffy Tails or no shit. Nigga named Miles Davis Tails.
You got Sonic the Hedgehog, Knuckles the Echidna, and then you got Miles Tails Prower. Like,
his last name Powell?
Prower.
Oh, all right.
Like, that's better. He said, Prower. That's acceptable. Nigga, you got a last name. That's the point. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Cinecism. I'm Eric.
It's your boy Dante, man, and today we're going to be doing a review on Sonic 2.
Sonic 2 picks up right after the first movie. Sonic is he's kind of like become, or trying to become like a local superhero, I guess. He's been like trying to save people, but in the process, he's causing like a lot of damage. Tom is kind of having a conversation with him about like, you know, being responsible and like his maturity, and like at the same time, he's still serving as like a kind of like a fatherly figure, which is cool, their relationship, but it's kind of weird when I think about it. But you know, I'm not mad at it. It's weird.
I mean, he's a hedgehog, so
and not even like a real one.
Right? Yeah.
He's an alien hedgehog. Meantime, you have Dr. Robotnik, who has arrived back on Earth through, I don't know, science. He's enlisted the help of Knuckles, who we saw some of his race or his species in the last movie, but now he's serving as kind of a villain in this movie, working with Dr. Robotnik, and them two have partnered up. And then also Tails, who is apparently a huge fan of Sonic, has also teamed up with Sonic. So you have two opposing teams kind of clashing. Dr. Robotnik is also after this emerald we got a hint of in the first movie, and I guess it's supposed to grant him like ultimate power to just do whatever. I don't, you know, these items, they don't be specific about the abilities. You get it and you just God.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about Sonic and Tails, man. First of all, I gotta say, the kid in me was very excited to see these two in a movie together, especially after getting a sneak peek of him at the end of the first movie. I was really looking forward to this, man, and they didn't disappoint. I really liked Sonic and Tails' relationship together. Tails felt very much so like a little brother to Sonic. You know, at first I thought Sonic was going to be kind of like a dick to him, but they started off like cool.
Yeah,
I was happy to see that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you got to see some of their classic little moves and Tails flying around in a little plane.
Yeah.
I thought that was dope, man.
Yeah.
Where the fuck you get that plane?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because he damn sure ain't have it when he landed. That's what I know. Kind of what you were saying. I was a little unsure how their relationship was going to be at the beginning. Sonic in the animated series and even in the game is very attitudinal. You know what I'm saying? He cool, but he kind of like a jerk. He's not really like that even in these movies. He's a lot more kid friendly, which I appreciate. He still is a little bit arrogant, but not really. They really play more up to his more playful and childlike elements here. So him and Tails really hit it off the bat. When the first movie teased Tails, I was like, man, they really should capitalize on this movie, focusing on Sonic and Tails really being the key elements of the movie, and really kind of put Tom in the background, which is exactly what they did. Because that's what people want to come to see. I mean, the human elements, you need that because it's a live action movie, and I get it. He's in the real world, so you need to have the human element. But what people want to see is the characters that we came to see. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. Of course, Sonic 2, the game, introduces Tails. So in this movie being Sonic 2 introducing Tails, I thought that was a cool little nod to the video game as well.
Do you remember who voiced Tails? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know, but they did a really great job.
Yeah.
Like, they really captured
his voice really fit the character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That innocence and that friendliness and warmth to his voice. Let's talk about Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles.
Yes.
I mean, I said it before. I love Jim Carrey. I've always loved Jim Carrey ever since I was a kid.
Me too.
And he does not fail to deliver in this either. He's just so fun and wacky. He's got more of the classic Dr. Robotnik look this time around. I mean, you know, he's not as wide, but he got the mustache and the hair and everything. He came back like even crazier than before. I guess because of his like experience on this mushroom planet or whatever, he just seemed even more unhinged than the first movie. He one of the most cartoony people, like the most cartoony live action people I've ever seen in my life. The way he moves is crazy. And then we got Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba, which was an interesting voice casting choice, but I'm not mad at it, especially after seeing his personality in here. It was very much so Knuckles, like the tough exterior, not super friendly, very mission or goal oriented. I thought he delivered here too, man. It was cool to see him and Sonic's dynamic. I thought they played off each other well. And he also had some pretty funny lines in here.
Yeah, they kind of played Knuckles almost like they do Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's very tribal and super literal. You know, he don't really understand sarcasm and stuff like that. So because of that, it's funny. He's very unaware of the world in which he's in, and he's a fish out of water. And, you know, he's also super serious, which in itself can be very funny when you're surrounded by these wacky characters. So
they don't call him Knuckles for nothing.
Nigga, listen, them hands.
Bitch is deadly.
Right.
You know, I really enjoyed the action scenes. They were pretty fluid. They were a lot better than a lot of like quote unquote action movies, you know, as far as like being able to see all the action and everything. I never felt like I couldn't tell what was going on in the scenes.
Which is impressive with characters that are moving completely at high speeds.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know.
And completely CGI.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So I love when they interact with all of Dr. Robotnik's like gadgets and machinery all the time. Of course, it's reminiscent of the old school games because, you know, that's what he was known for.
That snow scene in particular, that was probably my favorite one. It just had a lot of moving parts. It was a pretty lengthy scene too, which I enjoyed. I like when they, even though it's a ripoff of the Quicksilver thing, they did it in the first movie. But I love when they slow his character down because it's so fun and it fits this character. You know what I'm saying? Because he's very much how Quicksilver was in that movie, which is very playful. And they mixed that in with the snowboarding scene and they incorporated Knuckles and Tails was there. It's like what you came to see, actually. You know, scenes like that. And the robots, like all the key elements from the game were there.
You know what, man?
I think you're going to say what I'm going to say.
Speaking of that snow scene, how'd you feel about that whole wedding situation?
We be right
humans
here. The wedding scene felt very out of place. I think we could have did without it, at least for as long as they tried to draw it out, because the thing was, if they just interrupted the wedding, that would have been fine. But they really tried to get you invested in this whole like love scenario between Kelly and Shamar Moore. I was like, what the fuck? Nobody cares about this shit. This is a character you barely know. Yeah. Sorry. But I love Kelly, but I don't know Kelly's real name, unfortunately. Kelly from Insecure. The whole thing with like Shamar Moore and his shirt was off. Like, I get that's his signature, but dog, we was in the theater with young children and them slow-moing this man abs and shit. I was like, this is just, it felt wrong. Like, why is this in Sonic? That whole part felt like a different movie entirely. It felt like a piece of girl strip or something.
Yeah.
I was a little uncomfortable. Like, why is this in a children's movie?
I mean, I understand trying to have something for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't need to. When they first revealed that Tom and the wife were going away, I thought that was like a tool to like focus on, you know, the characters we were there for.
Yeah.
But no, they went away and then we went with them. Yeah. We was at the wedding. Like, yo, what y'all doing? You might as well just leave them in the center. Yeah, right. They gonna just be hanging out, and we gonna be kicking it with them. You know?
Right. And then when they tried to hold that whole secret agent thing, I'm like, oh, we still on this story? The wedding would have just got interrupted. That would have been enough. But then they tried to make it like he was a spy and he had falsely courted her because he was looking for info on Sonic. It just was like what? What is this?
Just what? You know, that whole, you know, in final battle between him and Sonic when, you know, he had the giant robot and Sonic went supersonic, thought that was dope. I'm glad they threw that in there. And I'm also glad that they didn't have that in the first movie because it was so cool to finally see that in live action. And it didn't disappoint. The shit looked like great.
When I was watching that scene, I was like, man, I just was thinking to myself, like, wow, they really doing everything right. Like, I feel like for fan service, they're really delivering it at a proper pace and in a sequence that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
trying
saying?
To throw everything in there all at once.
Exactly, which is a problem that I feel like these movies do sometimes. It's like they want to fan service you to death. Yeah. But they've been very intentional about where they put it, which I appreciate. Because that gives you something to look forward to, you know what I'm saying? when I saw them do it in this one, it made so much more sense because, I mean, something like that robot was humongous. So, I mean, you ain't really have no hope but to do that. Speaking of the CGI and everything, they did a great job, man, for a movie that's predominantly CGI characters. I think they look good. They definitely look somewhat out of place compared to the humans, but it's supposed to look that way. They modernized them and made them more realistic, so it's more digestible in the real world, but they still had those classic elements of the characters that we know and love. Tails is like everything on Tails was pretty much right out of the game.
Yeah.
Voice, the way he looked, I was like, oh wow, yeah, that's Tails. But he probably might be the easiest to do when I think about it. He got the simplest design. Going back to what you were saying, man, Jim Carrey is so incredible in this movie, man. And this classic Jim Carrey, I'm a fan of Jim Carrey's serious movies too. Like I think The Majestic and Eternal Sunshine are two phenomenal movies. But I grew up on like comedic Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, The Mask, Liar Liar. I just love to see, I mean, that's his bread and butter. You know, as great of a dramatic actor as he is, seeing him like that just does something. I don't know, man. It was like all of the kid nostalgia came back. Seeing Sonic, Tails, Jim Carrey doing his classic shit.
Very 90s.
Yeah, very
90s.
Absolutely. But I love to see an actor having fun and fully committing to something, and you can just tell he's having a blast. I smile every time he's in a scene just because I know he's gonna say or do something
absurd.
That's right. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Lastly, man, I just want to talk about the end credit scene?
Yeah.
We got to see a glimpse of Shadow, which I had a feeling he may be included. Obviously, he's probably more than likely going to be in the third movie, which I think is appropriate. And as you said, it's just, I like the way that they introducing these characters slowly instead of trying to throw them all in a movie at once. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him and Sonic interact, man, because Shadow was a pretty cool character too.
I'm not even trying to be funny, but these Sonic teasers are probably getting me more excited than the Marvel one. It's like we had a point in Marvel where they show shit in the after credit, and I don't feel nothing no more like I used to. And now this Sonic shit, I'll be like, oh wow, like, you know, that feeling you used to get. So it's cool to see that a movie franchise could still do that, because that's not always easy to do. Sometimes you see it coming. I honestly was so invested in this movie, I wasn't even thinking about the next one. Yeah. And then when they did that, I was like, oh, Shadow, that's right. I'm very excited. I'm curious as to what's going to go on because, you know, you got Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles now. That's a powerhouse. Right. So ain't too many people going to be messing with that.
I enjoyed the Sonic sequel. For some reason, I thought I wouldn't have as much fun as I did with the first one, but I actually ended up having just as much fun, if not more fun. Definitely nostalgic. It was good to see Jim Carrey in his element again. I mean, especially for a video game character, this is just a solid adaptation to me. I'm gonna give Sonic 2 it's an 8 for me.
You know, like you, I was a little skeptical. These sequels, you just never know. And when they introduce more elements, that could be a good or a bad thing. They just are doing this very well. I think that the people that are making these movies are invested in Sonic and the franchise, and that's great to see. This movie's so fun, man. It just was a good time. Like, I found myself smiling and just enjoying and being invested, and it was great seeing these characters. And of course, Jim Carrey delivered. He's a great villain in this, and I think it's just a movie that anybody could enjoy. I'm gonna give it 8.5 actually. I enjoyed this one a little bit more than the first one with the introduction of Tails and Knuckles, and they fooled Robotnik Jim Carrey this time. So with all of that, that's really what I love. So I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Thank y'all for tuning in to our review of Sonic 2. Hope y'all enjoyed it. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggested reviews you'd like to see us cover, don't forget to drop a comment below.
Absolutely. And if you guys have seen Sonic 2, please let us know what you thought. Do you think that it was better than the first one? How'd you feel about the introduction of Tails and Knuckles? Are you excited to see Shadow in the future movies? We'd like to know that as well.
For sure.
We appreciate y'all, man.
Thanks.
Peace.